There was heavy deployment at the home of the NUP president, that is Robert Kyagulanyi, here in Magere. That is police and the army. They were all deployed here to ensure that he does not leave his residence. And this was done ahead of the NUP conference. And they thought him and the team were going to disrupt the conference by carrying out protests within town. And remember, NUP is part of the United Forces for Change. However, after they left, Robert Kyagulanyi also returned to his home, and we want to know, how did he manage to sneak out of here?
As you must have heard people saying, I became a cat. So I'm sure you've heard that in the 80s somebody used to become a cat and evade security. So I also became a what?
Addressing the media from his home in Magere for the first time after evading security 5 days ago, Kyagulanyi says he is determined to continue with public demonstrations.
It was a largely successful protest. As you've noticed, in most of the places where we planted banana stems, the roads have either been made or they are still strictly guarding those places. But many places have been worked on. That means protests actually work. Don't stop protesting. This regime will only listen to pressure from you and respond to pressure. Continue putting them on pressure, not only about roads, but every other injustice that you face in society.
Donned in a black t-shirt embossed with a picture of Olivia Lutaya, one of those missing NUP members, Kyagulanyi said they are going to use various forms of protest to demand for their release.
This regime only responds to pressure. We are calling upon people, our people, especially we as a national unity platform, to demand, to use similar ways of protest, various ways of protest, to demand for the return of the missing people. I might not give you the tactics that we're going to use. We are going to carry on these protests in very many different ways, and we also call upon the population to give thoughts. This is not just an issue of we, the leaders.
After the NUP conference closed in Munyonyo, Kyagulanyi hinted that he was dismayed by the UN Secretary General, who failed to point out human rights violations in the country.
He was in Uganda when the opposition leaders are under house arrest, including myself, who was on the run from the military. He did not talk anything about the gross human rights violations and the abuse of democracy in Uganda. He did not even talk about the massacres and the mass killings in the Congo, where up to 5 million Africans have lost their lives. He did not talk about the plunder and dehumanization and humanitarian crisis that is ongoing in the Congo. That, to many of us, spoke to the hypocrisy of the UN. It spoke to the disregard of African lives. While other lives are being considered, African lives didn't seem to matter to him.
Kyagulanyi was also concerned about a list of people who the police say were identified as having planted bananas in the potholes while protesting against the poor state of the roads.
The police shouldn't intimidate people about footage of those people that were planting banana stems in the potholes. We are here, I am one of the leaders that called for that protest. And the protest is still on. We continue to encourage Ugandans to protest non-violently. This time we've encouraged them to plant plantain stems.
I asked him how long he intends to carry on with the protests.
We are going to protest constantly until there is a difference.
The former Chadondo East MP condoled with the family of the late Dokolo woman MP who died on Thursday last week.
The little time I was with her in the parliament, she was a source of good counsel, she was a mother, she was a source of great advice, and we shall miss her as a nation. We can only try to move in her footsteps.
It's not clear what kind of protests the United Forces of Change will adopt. SUDHIR BYARUHANGA, NTV.